The vacuum so you keep the stomach in, because people do not come to a show to see bellies. And if they want to do that, they go to maternity ward or something like that.
Bubble guts are a big topic in modern bodybuilding, especially since it clashes with the ideal shredded look everyone's chasing on stage. Imagine hitting the stage with insane muscle definition, super low body fat, and then, boom, you've got this distended gut sticking out. That's what people mean by bubble guts, and it's been showing up more and more in competitive bodybuilding. What a shame.
Everybody was basically wanted in a bandwagon of a bubble trouble gut bonanza. Look at that right here. Pregnancy daily, and it went to Mr. Olympia too. Everybody, pros. Ronnie Coleman, incidentally, he was absolutely proper. He was in the aesthetic side. And then, while the rest is history, he gained one of his own. So probably 7 months pregnant.
A lot of it comes down to the heavy use of insulin, human growth hormone, HGH, and anabolic steroids. These can cause internal organs, especially the intestines, to grow, making the stomach push out, even though the body fat is practically non-existent. On top of that, bodybuilders eat a ton to fuel their massive muscle gains, which can also mess with digestion and lead to bloating. But what do bodybuilding legends have to say about this bubble gut bonanza? Let's take a look. Number 5, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
For instance, so many of those guys have their stomachs sticking out. You know, what are we talking about here? I mean, it used to be that you should have a V-shaped body. Now, I don't know, it's like kind of like a bottle-shaped body or something.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has been outspoken about his disapproval of bubble guts in modern bodybuilding. Coming from the golden era of the sport, where symmetry aesthetics and the iconic V-taper were prized, Arnold believes that bodybuilding has veered off course by prioritizing sheer size over balanced, proportionate physiques. He's openly criticized the rise of distended midsections, calling it a step backward for bodybuilding. To Arnold, bubble guts destroy the classic look that bodybuilding was meant to celebrate: broad shoulders, a small waist, and an overall aesthetic appearance. He's repeatedly emphasized that the goal should be to create a beautifully sculpted, well-balanced physique, not to chase mass at the expense of a bloated waistline. In his view, bubble guts take away from the artistry and elegance of bodybuilding, giving athletes a blocky, less refined appearance on stage. Kai Greene, a bodybuilder who was notorious for having a bubble gut, was trolled by Arnold after winning the Arnold Classic. Arnold, sneaky as ever, asked Kai to perform a vacuum pose, knowing full well he was not capable of hitting the pose due to his gut.
Let's see one more double bicep shot with a great vacuum. Show them now how to do that. Watch this, guys. What this? Look at that. Give him a big hand for the great victory.
Arnold's opinions have even influenced judging criteria in some competitions, pushing for athletes with tighter midsections to be rewarded. He continues to advocate for a return to the classic ideals of bodybuilding, where aesthetics and symmetry are valued over extreme mass, reinforcing his legacy as a protector of the sport's true essence. Number 4, Charles Glass. Charles Glass is a highly respected figure in the world of bodybuilding, known for his expertise as a trainer and his innovative approach to muscle development. Often referred to as the godfather of bodybuilding, Glass has worked with some of the top names in the sport, including elite athletes like Flex Wheeler, Sean Roden, and Chris Cormier. With decades of experience, he has established himself as one of the most sought-after trainers for both amateur and professional bodybuilders. Glass originally competed as a bodybuilder himself, even participating in prestigious events like the Mr. Olympia competition during the 1980s. So when it comes to bodybuilding, you won't find many more people with knowledge like Charles. And he has a very interesting take on the bubble gut problem.
Have you found insulin to damage physiques? Because I noticed the bubble gut happened in the 90s and wasn't in your era.
People was using insulin then, but not as much. Less.
Have the drugs changed much since?
Oh my God, yeah.
Or is it just insane dosage?
There's more counterfeit drugs out.
Glass isn't shy about calling out the dangers of drug misuse in the sport. According to him, insulin use has been around since the 90s, but it's taken a dark turn recently with abuse becoming more common. He points out how this is leading to that dreaded bloated midsection look that's more common now compared to back in the day. It's not just the drugs themselves, it's the rise of counterfeit substances too. Many bodybuilders don't even know what they're putting into their bodies because of the lack of transparency and regulation. Glass makes it clear that using these underground drugs is a dangerous game. These cheap knockoffs are often impure, leading to harmful effects that can seriously mess with your health. His advice? Slow down, be patient, and build muscle the right way, naturally. He's speaking from personal experience too. Glass himself dealt with nasty side effects like shortness of breath and his body feeling overworked from performance-enhancing drugs. Those struggles forced him to change his approach, and now he's all about promoting safer, more sustainable methods for growth. For him, the long game is the best game when it comes to bodybuilding success. Number 3, Frank Zayn. Frank Zayn, a bodybuilding legend, is celebrated for his perfectly balanced, aesthetic physique. Competing from the 1960s to early 1980s, he claimed 3 Mr. Olympia titles by focusing on symmetry and definition over bulk. At 5'9" inches and 185 pounds, Zayn demonstrated that size isn't everything. Known as the chemist for his methodical approach to training and diet, Zayn's attention to detail helped him craft a lean, classic look that continues to inspire. His legacy highlights the power of aesthetics and proportion, setting a lasting standard for bodybuilders who value balance over mass. When asked about the bubble gut, he had some very interesting things to say.
You see more of a gut and, big stomachs.
It's hard to do it at 40 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's full of food.
How was...
Not much going in the stomach. You got to be hungry. And I had a method that I found myself, I didn't say I'm going to do this, I just found myself doing it. And as the contest got closer, what I found myself doing was staying hungry longer. Not eating every hour, every 2 hours, and just staying hungry longer. And then I would vacuum. I also would play wind instruments too, like I'm a harmonica player. I would do that. You play better when you're hungry, you do.
In a conversation with Frank Zayn about modern bodybuilding, he discussed the rise of bubble guts, a term for distended, bloated midsections that have become common in recent years, particularly in the open class. Zayn believes the issue is largely due to overeating and improper abdominal control, such as neglecting stomach vacuum exercises, which were key during his era. This leads to an unsightly, bloated appearance that detracts from the aesthetic symmetry that bodybuilding once prioritized.
What in your mind, what would be the perfect physique, and how would you describe that?
I would say the perfect physique is one that has really great proportions where everything matches. No one thing stands out. It all blends together. And everything is very well defined, a lot of definition. And you don't see too much of that. I mean, like take the best example I know of that is Steve Reeves. From early on, he was my idol.
Zayn stresses that if competitors can't control their midsections, it significantly harms their overall presentation. He advocates for athletes to return to the golden era, focus on proportion, control, and aesthetics rather than just chasing mass at the expense of balance. Number 2, Lee Priest. Lee Priest is a renowned Australian bodybuilder, celebrated for his impressive physique and blunt, unapologetic attitude. Standing at just 5'4", Priest was known for his ability to compete against much larger bodybuilders, earning respect for his muscle density and conditioning. He achieved significant success, winning titles like the IFBB Ironman Pro and frequently competing in the Mr. Olympia contests. Priest's career was often controversial due to his outspoken views and rebellious nature. He openly criticized bodybuilding politics and rules, which led to several disputes with the IFBB, including a notable suspension. Despite this, his honesty and willingness to address taboo topics such as drug use in the sport gained him a loyal fan base. Priest's legacy in bodybuilding remains strong thanks to his combination of world-class physique and bold personality. So when it comes time to call out the bubble gut, you can bet your butt that Priest would not be shy.
Sean Ray gets a good flat stomach. Some of the pros out there still have, like Levrone has a nice small waist still and small stomach. Dexter, he keeps his pretty small. One or twice he's tried to play the size game and got it too big, but his waist is generally small. So there's a few guys out there still have a small waist, but I don't know what the guys are doing these days, but it just doesn't look pretty. Like you said, they're just bloated out guts, and Joe Gold would always call them gorilla bellies and stuff like that as well. So it doesn't have a good look to it, and to me, it doesn't look like bodybuilders where, in the old days, it would be a small waist, big back, shoulders, and that. Whereas today, I look at them and, like I said, I like freaky bodybuilders, but when I see the guys today, I'm like, who wouldn't look like that? They might have some good, impressive body parts, but when you look at the overall body, it looks like a mangled up wreck.
Lee Priest discussed how he managed to maintain a small, flat midsection while building an impressive physique, avoiding the bubble gut issue that is now common in modern bodybuilding. He attributed this problem to athletes using substances like insulin and growth hormone to enhance size. In contrast, Priest never used such substances, which helped him retain a lean, tight core while still achieving massive development in his arms, chest, and back. Number 1. Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone is a legendary bodybuilder known for his incredible muscular development and charisma on stage. Competing primarily in the 1990s and early 2000s, Levrone earned the nickname the Maryland Muscle Machine due to his powerful physique and numerous victories. He won 23 IFBB pro titles, making him one of the most successful athletes in bodybuilding history, though he never claimed the Mr. Olympia title despite multiple second-place finishes. When asked about the bubble gut problem, here is what he had to say.
Does that bubble gut thing really bother you with the guys today?
Bothers me when you see somebody with a great physique and great talent and everything, and they push it to that point. You know, it really bothers me. You know, because bodybuilding is an illusion. The smaller your waist is, the bigger the rest of your body's going to look. It's an illusion. So that's the center point where you want to be the tiniest. You don't want that to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah.
You know, it's an illusion. And then you wonder why guys like back in the day, like Sean Ray, who competed at 210, or 190, I think.
No, he was 210 as a pro.
210. Yeah. You know, would beat guys like Marcus Stroll and beat guys like Paul Dillette, you know, and beat guys like Nasser El Somebody and stuff, you know, because he just had the perfect size, shape, and symmetry. And it wasn't about how big, how much you weighed on stage.
In a conversation, Kevin Levrone expressed his concern about the rise of bubble guts in modern bodybuilding. He attributed this phenomenon to overeating, insulin use, and excessive growth hormone. Levrone emphasized that no one needs 10,000, 12,000 calories to build muscle, and that excessive eating stretches the stomach, contributing to the distended midsection seen in many competitors today. He also pointed out that bodybuilding is about creating an illusion, where a smaller waist enhances the overall appearance of the physique, and that athletes today are losing that by prioritizing sheer size over aesthetics. Levrone believes the sport should focus on conditioning and symmetry rather than bloated, oversized physiques. He sees this trend as a shift away from the classic aesthetic ideal, and he advocates for a return to more balanced and proportionate physiques. What do you think about bubble guts in bodybuilding? Are they a problem? Or are these legends clinging too hard to the old days? Let us know in the comments section.